I can't see this thing falls too easy.
I gotcha.
If I leave this here,
It should be able to pick
it'll
it
be
up.
fine.
Okay. I'll tell Mark.
Yeah.
So just leave that set like that.
me know whenever you're ready. Are you ready? Terry, you want me to get started here? All right. Oh, this is not. I think we're good. If everyone could please make their way to their seats, we're going to get started here. All right, and at this time, I would like to welcome to the podium our Master of Ceremonies for this evening, 2023 Achievement Hall of Fame inductee, Mark Tromba.
Good evening, everyone. First off, let me welcome to the Wickliffe Schools Alumni Association Hall of Fame, the induction ceremonies here in 2024. I'd like to thank Dino's as well for the great meal. Let's hear it for Dino's. So to begin the program, I was trying to coax Ray Caroscia and Chuck and Mr. Formica back there to sing the alma mater, but just couldn't get it done. I apologize for that. But I am the class of 1985, just like Ray, and want to be the first to congratulate all our inductees here tonight. I know it's a special night, and tonight they enter rare air in Wickliffe sports history. I'd like to thank Terry and the Alumni Association, in particular Coach Knackley, for asking me to be here tonight. And I was fortunate enough, first of all, can you see me over the podium? Are we good? All right, okay, all right. But I was fortunate enough to play football and baseball at Wickliffe. So amazing coaches, Coach Knack, Coach Smith, Rosnick, Diamore, Kowalski, Wolfgram, baseball, Coach Malavic, Coach Humphrey. Let's just say I was not good enough as an athlete to be in this situation here tonight. And don't let the height fool you. Okay, so I also played basketball in junior high for Mr. Glinka. So Coach Glinka, anybody remember Coach Glinka? I think I am the only athlete in the history of Wickliffe to foul out in the Mojo Quarter. Do you remember that? Does everybody know what the Mojo Quarter is? Back in the day, they'd play 4 quarters, and then they'd play a fifth for the poor saps that didn't get in the game for the rest of the game. I think I might have been in there like 4 minutes, and I was hacking and fouling out, right? So that didn't end well. And then, while I love Pine Ridge, I'll tell you about this, golf. So after, I've been married 28 years, and after year 1, my wife says, hey, we were living in Wickliffe on 300th Street. She says, we got golf lessons at Pine Ridge. Fantastic. Whatever. Come here, first lesson, second lesson. After the second lesson, the golf pro here, he goes, can't take your money anymore, go find another hobby. So, true stories. And that's why I'm behind the mic, and I'm not on the quarter of the field. So, a lot of fond memories of Wickliffe. Grades were not one of them. And my daughter Samantha's in the back of the room there. And 2 weeks ago, I was smoking a cigar outside, and I heard a ding on my phone. And I looked, and there was a picture of my senior year report card. And, Dad, what season these? So I called my mom. What are you doing? Why are you showing them that? And she said, well, we could have wallpapered the house with your deficiency slips as well. So, but it all worked out well, so we're going to have some fun here tonight, and I want to get started. So hopefully everybody enjoyed their meal, and let's celebrate excellence. First up, this individual was a member of the track and field team all 3 years in high school. He was the only underclassman in the top 3 of the state meet in 1975. Junior year looked bright until an injury to his spine left him in a neck brace for the remainder of that year. Despite the injury, he returned to his senior year, 3rd place in state with a jump of 13 feet 6 inches. Cleared 14 feet 6 a week later at the Brush Invitational for a new record. This athlete excelled in college, had a jump of 15 feet at the University of Utah. Coach Benz encouraged him to return to the Buckeye State, and that choice brought him accolades at Baldwin Wallace. Only 2-time indoor OAC champion, first-time, four-time vault champion in the history of the conference, and to this date, the only four-time outdoor OAC champion. Also a four-time NCAA qualifier. His best vault was 15 feet 9 inches. His Wickliffe teammate, Patrick McDowell, the Hall of Fame inductee of 2011, was on the same BW team, and just incredible accomplishments. This Blue Devil retired living in Arizona with his wife, Sherry. They have 2 children. Please welcome our first member of the 2024 Hall of Fame, and nominated by Coach Al Benz. Ladies and gentlemen, from the class of 77, Mr. Craig Chanowski.
You want me to talk?
Absolutely. Mike is yours.
I guess now I can actually use my BA for something. I want to thank you, first of all, Coach Benz, for nominating me. It's always great to come back here. For those of you that don't know me, I didn't grow up here. Came here in my sophomore year from Tacoma, lived with my uncle, and Ben's kind of filled in the spots, and he was a good mentor, and I get a little emotional. And just had a great time here. Love Wickliffe. Promised my wife I wouldn't start my second career as a stand-up comedian tonight, so we can actually celebrate our 38th anniversary tomorrow in peace. Sherry. And I guess that's about it. Wickliffe's awesome, and I hope a lot better good things come here from Wickliffe. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I am jealous of the hair. Second member of the Hall of Fame from the class of 1989. His remarkable career at Wickliffe in the late 80s, nothing short of extraordinary. His accomplishments on the field were incredible, have set the high standard for future generations. Over his football career, he accumulated impressive 2,500 rushing yards, became the first four-year letterman in Wickliffe football history. Here's just a few highlights. Special mention All-Lake County team in 85-86. All-District WSAA and honorable mention 86-87. Special mention in Northeastern Ohio Division 86-87. First team All-Lake County honors in 88-89. First team News Herald All-District team 88-89. News Herald Player of the Week, All-State Football Award as a second teamer in 1987-88, MVP CBC Award recipient in 1987-88. His legacy is one of excellence, perseverance, and leadership. Contributions to Wickliffe athletic history are celebrated tonight. We are honored to acknowledge his outstanding achievements. Nominated by Bob Murphy, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the Hall of Fame from the class of 89, Mr. Scott Martin.
Well, I am truly honored. I love Wickliffe. I love my coaches. I'd like to thank my mom and dad for taking me to all the practices and learning how to be an athlete, I guess, you know. Not great at public speaking. I feel like I did before the football games. I'd get super nervous until I ran somebody over, you know? So if somebody'd stand up, please. No. But thank you very much. I'm truly honored, and Wickliffe is awesome.
Congratulations, Scott. All right, next up, our third inductee. This Blue Devil is the oldest of three, all great former Wickliffe athletes. Karen is being honored here tonight with the great 92-93 women's softball teams. Mark was a three-year starter on the football team, played basketball, went on to have an outstanding football career at Mount Union, where he played on 2 national championship teams as the starting tailback. This honoree played 3 sports, but he excelled at football. He was a two-way, two-year starter on two great teams, 1989, 1990, and to this day still holds the single-season interception record with 7. His junior year, he was named honorable mention as the News Herald All-Star team. His senior year, he was the player of the week for the Willoughby South game. Postseason, he was named first team All-Conference, first team All-Lake County. First team News Herald, was named to the News Herald Save-A-Site game as well. His senior year against Chardon, he intercepted a pass, ran it back for a TD, which changed the momentum of the ball game, and to this day, arguably, one of the biggest plays in the history of Wickliffe football. This athlete went on to Mount Union, where he had an outstanding career and started on the first of many national championship teams. He was a great athlete, but more importantly, a great teammate. He was a fiery competitor. The bigger the game, the better he played. The bigger the moment, the more he shined. Nominated by Coach Knackley, ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming from the class of 1991, Mr. Mike Lantos.
My speech is going to be a little longer than Craig and Scott, so. All right. First of all, I just want to thank the Wickliffe Alumni Association for recognizing me tonight. Truly honored. I'd like to congratulate Craig, Scott, Jimmy, Corey, and the girls softball team for also being inducted tonight. I also wanted to thank everybody that's come out here in support of me. I tried to keep this a low-key affair, and I lost. Each and every one of you are special to me in your own way, and I appreciate you being here. When this announcement first came out, I got a text from someone that said, you know you have to give a speech tonight. I think there's a 10-minute time limit. Good luck with that. Laughing face emoji, laughing face emoji, laughing face emoji. So let's see if we can do this. Hey Siri, set me a 10-minute timer. All right, here's my quick athletic backstory. Soccer was my best sport, baseball was my favorite sport, and somehow I'm standing up here tonight for what I did on the football field. The last 2 times that I spoke in public was Dave, your wedding reception, and my friend Chris's dad's celebration for his life. And I decided to talk about my friends and family. And when I was thinking about what I wanted to say tonight, I decided I'm going to just do the same thing, friends, family, with a little twist on football. So first, I wanted to thank a couple of my friends for being here, my brother-in-law, Joe, and the mayor. Joe, thank you, guys. I also want to thank a couple of my teammates. Recently, somebody asked me what I remembered most about Wickliffe football, and I didn't have to think, I didn't have to hesitate. I remember Dave Longano picking me up for 3 weeks in a row, 2 years in a row, go to practice at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd leave practice, we'd go to Ponderosa, all-you-can-eat buffet. All 6 of us would hop in his car, we'd go sleep on a waterbed in an air-conditioned room for a couple hours and head back for the second practice. I remember me and Brian Park leaving school early at like noon on Fridays, not to go watch films of our opponents or discuss a game plan, but to go sit in my basement and play Tecmo Bowl for 3 hours and then go to the pregame meal. I remember Chris Marino setting the school record for interceptions my junior year. He played defensive end, and there was no way I was going to let him have that record being a defensive end. I remember Brian Scarsich making a field goal in overtime to beat Solon, and it was the first time in school history we ever beat Solon 2 years in a row. And I remember Bob Gambatese running up and down the fields on Friday nights, but I'd go pick him up on Saturday mornings to go watch films and then watch a JV game. He literally needed a cane to get out of his room, down the steps, and out of his house. I remember in one breath laughing at him and the other breath thinking, this is what Wickliffe football is all about. I thank God every day that I'm still friends with you guys. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys going through the journey of my life with me. Chris and Jamie, thank you guys for being here also. I know how important football is to your family, especially Wickliffe football. I know your mom and dad are both shining, or looking down, smiling on us all right now. Krista, also congratulations for being part of the state championship softball team. It's a really cool honor and something you should be proud of. Also, thank you for doing all of our fall vacations around my 3 questions. What time does Ohio State play? What time does Cleveland Browns play? And where are we watching the games at? So, thank you. Karen, I wanted to thank you individually for your accomplishments on the softball team. I know how important the game of softball has always been to you. I still remember going to your first game when you played on Pizza Bazaar at Featherstone Park. I remember sneaking home from college a couple times to watch you play in high school. I still have that stupid laminated baseball card that you gave me when you made the Player of the Week in the News Herald. So just want to let you know I'm proud of you. I'm proud to call you my sister, and I love you. I also did some research. Yes, your fantasy football team record is still better than mine, but not that research. All right, so in the state of Ohio, every year, less than 1% of a student athlete will ever win a state championship. So think about that. Let's put that into perspective. 100 boys and girls are going to play sports this fall at Wickliffe. The statistics say most likely 0 of them will ever win a state championship. Keep that in mind when you reflect back on your team's accomplishments. All right, I also want to thank my mom and dad. Neither one of them are here tonight, but they both had a lot to do with me in the game of football. First, my dad, as far back as I can remember, he and I were football together. I remember waiting in the backyard for him to come home from work just so we could throw the ball around for a couple minutes before dinner. I remember him taking me to my first Wickliffe game, my first Browns game, my last Browns game. My freshman year, I played football and I was an offense and defensive lineman. My sophomore year, I didn't play football because I did not want to be an offense and defensive lineman. And then I decided to try back out for football my junior year, pretty much because all my friends were playing. And I'll never forget when I saw my name on the depth chart taped to the wall in the basement of the old locker room that I was a starting cornerback. I couldn't wait to race home, tell my dad, and ask him if he'd come to the game on Friday. All that aside, my dad was a quiet man, and the most important thing he taught me in life was my humility. He would often tell me, do not call attention to yourself, let somebody else do it for you. I wanted to thank him one last time for this. I know he and his brother, my Uncle Tom, are looking down on us right now with a sense of pride. Next, my mom. While my dad got to do all the fun stuff, my mom had the much tougher job, and that was raising me. I wasn't the easiest young man to deal with, let's just put it that way. But standing here tonight before all of you, I'd like to think my mom did a pretty decent job. I'm basically her in a man's body. I go to church because of her. I like cats because of her. I cook, I bake, I plant flowers, all because of my mom. But what's most ironic is that she never played 1 minute of sports in her life, and I think I inherited my athletic ability from her. I am 100% a stubborn Hungarian, and I have no quit in me. We used to have a rule growing up that if you signed up for something, you saw it all the way through. I could still hear my mom telling us that don't even come to me and ask me to quit because the answer is no. I couldn't quit Cub Scouts. Mark wasn't allowed to quit soccer. Karen wasn't allowed to quit organ lessons. This stubbornness and this perseverance, I think, made me the athlete that I am. So I never scored a lot of touchdowns, I never scored a lot of points, I never hit a lot of home runs, but I was the guy that prided myself on the defensive side of the ball. I wanted to cover you in football, I wanted to guard you in basketball, I wanted you to hit the ball to me in baseball. These couple of years, my last couple of years, my mom's had a few health setbacks, and I talk to her every day, and she often tells me she's not ready to give up and she's gonna keep fighting. And I wanted to let her know that I appreciate her for practicing what she preaches, and I wanted to thank her and tell her that I love her. All right, two more. Mark. As much as Dad and I were football together, you and I were just as much, if not more. We started out playing football together on the bed in our bedroom. It was my Star Wars guys versus his G.I. Joe guys. We moved into the backyard, down the street to the Files backyard, 3 made-up fields at Mapledale. When we wanted to pretend like we were playing Monday Night Football, we would play on Empire Road under the lights. Then midget football, the Chiefs, the 49ers, middle school, high school, Mount Union. You were right there with me every single step of the way. And I can still remember exactly where we sat when Dad would take us to the games with our 1 grocery bag of confetti and 1 roll of toilet paper. I know that younger brothers are supposed to look up to their older brothers, but I look up to you also. I'm proud of you for everything you accomplished on and off the football field. I was a better football player because of you. I knew you were always watching, and I wanted to make you proud. I never wanted to let you down. I wanted to set a good example. No one brings out the competitive nature in me like you do. I wanted to thank you for that. I still can't beat you at golf, but I'm a better golfer because of you. As we often say, steel sharpens steel, bro. All right, last but not least, Coach Knackley, where are you at? Right there. As I told you before, thank you. I'm honored and humbled to be standing up here tonight. I want to thank my other 2 high school coaches, Mr. Rosnick, Mr. Lewis. All 3 of you guys created a family atmosphere at Wickliffe, and it goes right into my family and friends kind of thing. When I first met you, I was a 15-year-old know-it-all. I've already touched on how my parents were trying to raise me, and then you showed up, and do you know what you did? You reinforced everything that my parents were trying to teach me. And I'm not sure if there's anything else I could have asked for in a high school football coach. My parents were teaching me to respect my elders. You taught me that when you and I have a conversation, we're to look each other in the eye. My parents were teaching me to conduct myself with class, and you taught me that after every play was over, I'm to hand the ball to the referee. My parents were teaching me how to act in public. You told me that if I scored a touchdown or intercepted a pass, to act like I've been there and done that before, put my head down and jog off the field. I can keep going on with these similarities, but I think we get the point. I spent most of my time on the football field with my 2 position coaches, Mr. Humphrey and Mr. Wolfgram. Coach Knackley, I don't remember one time that you and I ever had a conversation about football or X's and O's. But what I do remember is you conditioning me, you disciplining me, and you motivating me. You taught me life lessons on the Wickliffe football field, and for that I'm forever grateful. It's a code of behavior I still try to live my life by, values that I tried to instill in my son. Privileged to call you my friend, and I am grateful for the relationship that we've had these past 35 years. So one last time, thank you. Can everybody play with there? I don't want to take it.
Congratulations. Mike asked if he can go a little longer, and it was like, you're good. No, you're good. I was going to mention the all-time record speech. Does anybody know what the all-time record speech was here? Huh? Coach Rinaldo. Coach Rinaldo in the 1974 baseball team, he made it a 2-day event. I mean, this thing, we had to replace the batteries in the microphone when he was done, right? That thing must have went 40, 45 minutes. I'm not kidding. So that's the all-time record, so you're good. All right, so tonight we recognized individuals, and now we celebrate teamwork. 1992-93 girls slow pitch softball Division II back-to-back state championship teams. This recognition is long overdue. Talented teams that possessed more remarkable accomplishments than you can imagine. They were often recognized by the News Herald, Plain Dealer in the 90s, along with Coach Pete Humphrey. The 92 team was 25-8, won the CVC championship and the state championship. Senior Lori Zagar was the News Herald Player of the Year in D2 with a .568 batting average, 47 RBIs. Other recognitions by the News Herald: Amy Shaw, first team; Jenny Brazalovich and Angie Sobruno, second team. Special mention: Michelle Donnelly, Karen Lantos, Diana Ball. Honorable mention: Melanie Slupek, Carol Biondolillo, and Carrie Hepper. The motto for the Lady Blue Devils varsity softball team for the '93 season was "Three-peat and repeat" as state champions. And thanks to a lot of hard work and dedication and extra effort, both goals were realized. Among the many highlights of the '93 season were the third consecutive CVC title, second straight Division II state title, 38-9 overall record, 13-1 in the league, 18-game winning streak, tournament championship in the early bird tourney, third place finish in the Northern Regional Tournament, many individual honors and awards both in the conference and the newspaper all-star selections. Two individual accomplishments involved seniors, Jenny Brazalovich and Amy Shaw. Jenny collected her 100th hit of the season during the state championship game. Amy registered her 90th career victory in the same game. 1993 season was one filled with memorable moments, lasting memories. Lady Devils softball program had evolved into one of the premier programs, not only locally, but throughout the state of Ohio. News Herald recognized 10 players to include first teams: Shaw, Sobruno, Lantos; second team Donnelly, Biondolillo, Ball; honorable mention Kirchner; special mention Slupek and Kraus. Jenny Brazalovich was the News Herald Player of the Year. Coach Pete Humphrey was the News Herald Coach of the Year. Coaches Pete Humphrey, Ray Milovic, both Hall of Fame inductees, played a crucial role in developing these young women on both teams into champions. So without further ado, nominated by Terry Shine, let's hear it for the members of the back-to-back 92 and 93 Wickliffe State Championship softball teams. Come on up. Carol Biondolillo Bucar, Krista Bucar, Michelle Donnelly Harrison, Carla Brissell Kelly, Melanie Slupek Melarano, Melanie Joss Russo, Heather Smith Schreiber, Angela Sobruno Slapneck, and Karen Lantos Zito. Ladies, well done. Congratulations.
All right, Mike, your speech was phenomenal. Like, this is kind of a tough act to follow. What I put in my speech is kind of how you ended yours. I think it's going to be the testament to the coaches, discipline, motivation, self-discipline, camaraderie. So I'm going to focus on that, but I'm going to piggyback off of all the thank yous you gave to everybody, because I kind of zoned in on our favorite coaches that brought us to this back-to-back championship. So I'm going to say good evening, everyone. My name's Melanie Slupek Melarano. I was the starting outfielder for our championship teams, and it's an honor, an absolute honor to be here tonight. I've been so excited seeing all the faces, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, and then the families, like, that you haven't seen in years, too. So it's an honor to be here, and I'm happy to take you down a memory lane on this. So before social media became popular, Wickliffe had their own key influencers. Coach Humphrey, Coach Milovic, Coach Ronaldo, and Coach Wolfgram, who, by example, molded a group of girls into a strong, resilient, and confident group of women. They taught us the value of hard work through teamwork, how to handle and overcome adversity, and how setting goals while staying disciplined will lead to celebrated moments. Reflecting on our state championships and our CVC games, we exemplified all that a team should be by the way of the coaches and one another. So I'll take you back 30 years. So this will be quick, so not to worry, but I'm going to take you down 30 years into a glimpse of what our team represented. We were second to none, a force to be reckoned with. We were trained to expect greatness. We were to compete to earn our positions. And we had to know when to suck it up and try again and try harder. We understood that giving up would require letting down our teammates, and why the value of friendship was our foundation for motivation. We also thrived on pressure, and it didn't seem to bother any of us knowing that what was at stake to uphold our legacy. We were built to be better under pressure because we knew what we wanted, and we knew we wanted to win and what it would take to get us there. The outfield and infield operated in sync. We knew each other's strengths and what the other one was going to do before it even happened. Our lineup was also brimming with talent. We played intense and competitive games against our CVC rivals like West G, Kenston, a few others, as well as our competition in the state championships. We respected our competition, but at the end of the day, we also played to win and for bragging rights. We knew that even if you lose, again, you had to suck it up. If you struck out, you had another at-bat coming up. No matter how the game ended, we were reminded that tomorrow was a new day to shake it off and start again. Dragging it on was not prohibited on our team. We were also taught invaluable lessons that derived out of our teamwork, along with the self-discipline, including the following spoken and unspoken rules. Show up to practices and games, no excuses. If you don't like the bench, work harder. Try again and try harder. Run your mouth, and then you're gonna run it out. And if you had to run it out, your team was going with you. There was no I in team, but there was an I in win. I credit this to Coach Humphrey, who was firm but fair, and Coach Milovic, who was often the voice of strategic reason. No matter the message, good or bad, in under 30 seconds, he had a way of pulling you into his message that ended with a clear lesson or an immediate directive. You could be reprimanded and praised in under 30 seconds, yet still feel motivated to get back on the field and demonstrate that you corrected your mistake. And when our bats needed some fine tuning, Coach Humphrey would get up to the plate and show us all how to hit the hell out of the ball. So while our jaws dropped to the ground at the distance that he had hit that ball, our awe would quickly shift when hearing his laugh as he trotted down the baseline. He was able to invoke discipline and humor as fast as Coach Milovic could give a pep talk. Coach Humphrey also had an interesting way to improve our batting, fielding, and our sportsmanship on the game. I can still hear him yelling at us to call the ball, mine, 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 had to be said 3 times. Keep your head down, watch the ball hit the bat, watch the ball hit the bat, watch the ball hit the bat, and swing, bada, 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 swing. These infamous words still resonate and remind me how they brought out the leader in us that sometimes we didn't see in ourselves. They had motivational brilliance, which made a lasting impression. So recently, Carol, Angie, and I received an invite to be interviewed by the Alumni Association on our state championship. And when we were done doing the interview, it was really evident how deeply ingrained our memories were and how much pride still remains, especially the championship wins. Although specifics may dwindle, you never really lose that feeling of the moment that you felt that taste of victory. It's surreal as it is unforgettable. We are a forever family. We were not only coached on the field, but also in this game of life. During my senior year, After the loss of my grandfather and my struggles on and off the field, I recall Coach Humphrey pulling me aside and saying, everything in life begins with a first day experience. Whether loss or win, sorrow or joy, consider tomorrow your first day experience. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and give it another shot. His endearing nature and genuine care shown to me and others on our team and other students across the school represented an unbreakable bond on and off that field. We were a family, and we are a family. We're a community, and we embodied a genuine respect and admiration for our coaches and each other in this game. Our family also extended into the Wickliffe community. Between our friends and families, my mom and Aunt Rita, we had one of the most dedicated and highly vocal cheering sections to be found anywhere. It was amazing, such a great feeling to see how our friends and family and our parents and the city rallied around us during such an exciting time in every step to that journey of those championships. It's a feeling you can only wish for your kids or grandkids to encounter in their sports today. A fond and lasting Lady Devil memory that I have is back in the 92-93 season, with all of us hugging Coach Humphrey at that winning moment and that celebration of that championship game, which seems especially poignant now as I wish he and all of our coaches were here with us to give them a congratulatory hug for the award that we have all earned, because without them we wouldn't be here. Our coaches have touched so many lives, and I just want to expand on that from Mike what you said. It's like the Wickliffe school system, the coaching staff throughout all the sports have touched so many lives, and I think that resonates in your speech and ours and others in this community. And I wish for Coach Humphrey, for Coach Malavic, and Coach Wolfgram, and Coach Rinaldo, I wish they, again, were here, not only for what they have done for us, but to see how what they instilled in us has transcended into our adult lives. We've received the priceless gift of lessons, of life lessons, through their guidance, their strength, and their genuine love and care for us in this game. I'm also forever indebted to you girls, you amazing girls, those here and not here with us tonight, and blessed to be part of this Lady Devil community. Playing in this program with a talented group of powerhouse hitters, daredevil sliders, and talented athletes was a defining moment and the most memorable time in my life that I will forever cherish. I am honored to be here this evening with you, amazing ladies, and to have our team recognized for these back-to-back championships. This incredible and historical achievement was delivered by Coach Humphrey, the only coach in the history of Wickliffe to lead a team to a back-to-back state championship. Thank you all, especially the Wickliffe School Alumni Association, Terry, and the Wickliffe School Athletic Achievement Committee for the honor and recognition, and congratulations to all of you inductees tonight as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I promise there's no setting timers on Siri right now. And I'm glad Melanie went in between myself and my brother Mike, because it's gonna be hard for anybody to top that speech tonight. And one more quick thing, I'm here to say, anybody that grew up with brothers and sisters in athletics, I'm 48 years old, and today is the day that I finally caught up to both of you, okay? I love you. My name is Karen Lantozito, and I was the starting left fielder for the 1992 and 1993 state championship softball teams. This was such an exciting time for us girls, and we were so proud to bring home 2 state softball titles to the Wickliffe High School community. Our success spoke volumes to the type of leadership we were gifted. First, as a group, we'd like to thank our parents, guardians, friends, and neighbors who were always present at both our home and away games. I'm sure those trips to Kenston, West Geauga, Orange, and Solon weren't pleasant, especially during rush hour traffic. I clearly remember, and this is very clear, numerous parents dressed in suits on their way home from work, dodging the geese at Colby Park to catch the last few innings of our games. Even our bus driver for our away games was Chris Simon, used to tell us we weren't allowed back on the bus if we lost, but we can make up for it if we hit a home run. We're also grateful for all of the newspaper articles and clippings our parents saved for us. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to look back and remember all that we accomplished. We'd like to also thank our coaches, Mr. Humphrey, Mr. Molavic, Mr. Wolfgram, and Mr. Rinaldo. We absolutely had the best coaching staff in Northeastern Ohio. From player development, sportsmanship, and team unity, we were in it to win it, and our team stats and season records prove that. More importantly, we played for each other and our coaches. Even when you had a bad at bat or you dropped a ball in the outfield, our coaches and teammates built us back up and made us prove that we could do better. The Wickliffe girls were known for their power at the plate. The biggest nod to our coaches when the opposing team's coaching staff would wave their outfielders back a good 20 yards. We'd then get the nod from Coach Humphrey at third base to blast the ball behind the runners, and someone would drop a bomb in deep right field. Finally, we'd like to thank the Wickliffe Schools Alumni Association and the Wickliffe Schools Athletic Achievement Committee for recognizing our great accomplishments. It's an honor to have our legacy cemented in the history of Wickliffe High School. In closing, I just want to reminisce a moment about where these girls, everybody's standing here with me today, and the ladies that could not be here tonight, where the girls on these 2 state championship softball teams had their start. We were 7- and 8-year-old little girls with pigtails and braids, wearing Pizza Bazaar and Jerry's Dairy Pride uniforms, playing Little League softball 2 to 3 nights a week. We were at Inahar, we were at Gindra, and for some reason our parents let us go to Featherston. We grew up, combined forces, and started playing in the big tournaments in Menor, Willoughby, and Eastlake. One thing that always stood out, no matter where we went, were the comments that were made about the girls from Wickliffe. We had it together, and we were a force that could hold our own against the bigger city teams. I want to thank everybody for your time, for coming out tonight and celebrating this wonderful evening and all of our accomplishments. And congratulations to all the inductees in attendance. It's an absolute honor to be standing here in front of you and being a part of this. Thank you.
Congratulations again, ladies. And icons in our Wickliffe coaching categories with Coach Humphrey, Coach Malavic, Coach Wolfgram, Coach Rinaldo. So well done. All right, we move on. Our next inductee was widely regarded as one of the toughest running backs in Wickliffe history. His combination of strength and speed was truly unprecedented. His contributions were integral to establishing a team as one of the most formidable in the CVC. On the field, recognized as a remarkable leader, and off the field, true gentleman. His exceptional performance did not go unnoticed. News Herald featured him prominently, and several CVC coaches praised him for being one of the hardest-hitting running backs in the league. Some of his accomplishments: 95-96, first team All-CVC, first team All-Great Lakes District, first team All-Lake County, All-Ohio Honors Honorable Mention, News Herald MVP Offensive Player of the Year, rushed for 226 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Chagrin Falls Tigers, 94-95, all Chagrin Valley Conference honors. 94-95 was first team plain dealer all-star. His achievements continue tonight, nominated by Bob Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from the class of 96, Hall of Famer Jim Fatica.
Congratulations.
All right. I don't know, after Mike and the girls, I might just grab my plaque and just go sit down. We're a little speech here. I don't know how I'm going to do. I'm not a good public speaker, like Scott Martin was saying, but I'll give us a shot. A little nervous, but see what happens here. To the Wickliffe Alumni Association, and to the fellow athletes, coaches, family, and friends, I want to stand before you, honored and humbled, to be and accept this induction to the Hall of Fame. To all the other inductees, all the athletes, congratulations on all your accomplishments, and I'm truly honored to be in this class with all of you. First, I got to thank, first and foremost, my deepest gratitude to my parents, my mother who's here today, my father who did pass away 8 years ago, but they were my biggest fans. You know, their support, their encouragement, and their love shaped me into the player that I was to the man I am today. And I thank them for that. To my wife, Kristen, who is here, and the rest of my family and friends who are here, thank you for being here. My little grandson over there, believe it or not. You guys all played a very important role in my success, and for that I'm thankful. You know, as I look back, you know, at different stages, reflect on different stages of my life, you know, I've been blessed and mentored by 4 great men who have guided me both on and off the field. My father, for one, my father-in-law, Jack Alucci, over there, my main guy, head coach, Coach Knackley, and Mayfield football coach, Larry Pino. These men have taught me invaluable lessons from being a husband, a father, and a grandfather, to their knowledge of football, both playing and coaching the game. You have provided me with guidance and support needed to succeed, and I thank you for all that. Coach Knackley, I want to thank you because you always believed in me. You always pushed me to be the best player that I can be, and you're truly the reason why I'm standing here today, and I thank you. So Wickliffe always had, as we all know, a lot of guys here know, always had a tradition of having great running backs. Going back to Tony Sierra, Scott Martin, Bobby Gambatese, Kurt Renicky, Mark Lantos, Fred Martin. You know, growing up in the 80s and early 90s, I was able and privileged, honestly, to watch these players perform on the field. I had the honor to be teammates with 2 of them. Today, I'm inducted with 1 of them. So that's a true great honor for me. Lost my spot, I'm sorry. So going to my senior year, one of my individual goals was to continue that tradition that those great players left behind. You know, and standing here today, I truly feel that I accomplished that goal. I want to thank those individuals I just named for all the success that they had helped push me to gain mine. Great players that I played with that had an impact on me and my success. Bob Murphy, Mike Seckley, Tommy Ruffner, Dan Zagella, Fred Martin, Kenny Adamick, Jason Bickle, Mark Lantos, my younger brother Rob. Now that one's special to me because that was the first time and the only time that the 2 of us actually played on the same team, on the same field. And he turned out to be a great player himself, so thank you. I can't leave out the offensive line that blocked for me. I mean, these guys were 185, 190 pounds, average weight, and they played like they were 250. So I want to thank, I don't know if any of them are here, but I want to thank those guys for making me look good. And just to touch back, you know, I have a lot of great memories, and just to touch back on one of them, I know Coach and the coaches that are here today, and I know Murphy remember this. It was actually my junior year, week 10 versus Solon. Solon came in, they had a very talented team. We had a solid team. We were tough, lost a couple overtime games, but no one gave us a chance. And the only one that believed in us was Coach Knackley, the coaching staff, and our players in the locker room. And, Solon was on right at the tip of making it to the Division II state playoffs. All you had to do was beat little old Wickliffe. And our defense that year, we were good, but that night they played on a championship level. I mean, Solon had 125 total yards and 5 first downs in that whole game. So as we got to the game, first half is scoreless game. We think we took a 3-0 lead, and heading into the fourth quarter and continued our defense playing great, and Solon missed a field goal. We took over the ball at, I think, our own 20-yard line, and with 9 minutes and 6 seconds left in the game, between Fred Martin, myself, and Kenny Adamick, and an offensive line that just decided to be aggressive and start pushing people around. It was a 17-play, 80-yard, like Woody Hayes style drive. Ate up 7 minutes and 44 seconds of the clock, ending with Fred Martin punching it in from 3 yards out. With 1:22 left on the clock, knowing that we won, this game's over, as was Solon's playoff berth. So that memory there was probably my best of the 4 years playing here, and that feeling, saying those seniors off with a big win like that and carrying that momentum into the next season was just a great feeling. One that I'll never forget. In closing, to our 95 football team, especially the senior class, all the hard work that we put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears that we left on the field, week in and week out, we stuck together as one, and that was what made us a great football team. To Coach Knackley and the rest of the coaching staff, especially my position coach, Coach Buchart, I want to thank you guys for always preparing us and having us ready to go week in and week out. You guys never let down on us. You guys kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and again, that's what made us the team that we were. And last, and certainly not least, the Wickliffe community. I want to thank all of you for the love and support throughout our entire careers, not just myself, but the Lady Devils and all the other athletes that are here today. Thank you for everything that you guys gave us through our careers. And with that, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, our next inductee excelled in 3 sports, receiving 9 varsity letters: 4 baseball, 3 basketball, and 2 in football. He was a 2-year varsity starter in football, both offense and defense. Broken hip sidelined him his sophomore year. His senior year led the team in receiving yards, CVC conference recognition as first-team All-State defensive back. He was the Blue Devil basketball team captain in both his junior and senior years. Awards received: first team All-Conference, All-State honorable mention, both junior and senior years. In his junior year, the team won the CVC championship, and upon graduation, he was the 4th all-time leading scorer in school history. On to baseball. As Coach Phil Mata stated, he's the best player that played here since '85. He was a 4-year varsity starter, made the record books with a 9-0 pitching record, batting average of .497 his senior year. Senior year also saw 37 hits, 37 RBIs, 26 stolen bases, 62 1/3 innings pitched, 145 strikeouts over 3 seasons. Along with being the team captain his junior and senior years, he was CVC first team All-Conference. His senior year, the baseball team won the CVC championship. He was voted the CVC's most valuable player, 2nd team All-State, played in the All-Ohio Mizuno All-Star Game in Columbus, Ohio. This athlete attended Cleveland State on a Division I baseball scholarship, was the starting center fielder his freshman year, was named the Horizon League newcomer to the newcomer team, As a center fielder after his freshman year, earned the Horizon All-Tournament team his sophomore year. As a senior at CSU, made the men's basketball team as a walk-on. Graduated from Cleveland State 2007 with a degree in education. Went on to teach at Millennium High School in Goodyear, Arizona in 2008. Became the varsity coach of the girls basketball team in 2009 all the way to 2020. Received many accolades while in Arizona, taking the team to an Arizona State Championship 4 times, winning back-to-back titles in 2019 and 20. The Wickliffe alumni helped build one of the most successful basketball programs in the state of Arizona. He was Section Coach of the Year 6 times, State of Arizona Coach of the Year 3 times. This Blue Devil moved back to Ohio in 2020, began teaching in the Westlake City School District, coached the girls basketball program for 3 seasons, with 2021-22 Southwest Conference runner-up, 22-23 Great Lakes Conference runner-up, currently the assistant principal at Westlake High School. He's been married to his amazing wife, Jocelyn, since 2010. They have 4 children together, Ryan, Reagan, Bo, and Grace. Currently the head coach of Ryan and Reagan's travel baseball team, and certainly loves watching all the kids' activities. Ladies and gentlemen, nominated by Terry Shine, please welcome from the class of 2002, Mr. Corey Rojak.
All right. I've given. So the first thing I would like to do, I would like to congratulate Craig, Scott, Jimmy, Mike, the girls softball team. I've given a lot of speeches throughout my career. This one is unique because usually I'm talking to a classroom, talking about social studies lessons or my teams that I've coached, awarding players. I've never really given a speech where I'm like, I guess, in some ways talking about myself. So I'm not going to do that. It's just kind of awkward. But what I would say is, the first, I would like to do, when I thought about what to say, it really came back to a lot of the people I would like to thank. First and foremost, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to the committee for their time and consideration. When Mrs. Shine texted me or called me 4 or 5 months ago, I was honored to know that I was even nominated. And then when I got a call to say that I was inducted, it meant a lot. So the first thing I would like to thank is the people and all the people, the members of the committee. It means a lot. It's an honor to be here with all the other inductees from the past and also the class of 2024. The next people I would like to thank is, I was fortunate in 2000, we were the graduation class of 2002. We had a lot of really good athletes in our group. I played basketball, baseball, and football. I didn't play any individual sports, so a lot of our success as a team depended on every single kid. So I want to go out and thank, and there's too many to name, but I would like to thank all of the players that I took the field and the court with every day and every night. I was honored to be able to say that I graduated from high school. We won a CVC championship in football, basketball, and baseball. That does not happen a lot, so to do that in 3 sports, win a conference championship, it speaks a lot to a lot of the kids that I went to school with. So thank you to all of the players that I played with throughout my high school career. Next, I would like to thank the teachers and coaches. Throughout my life, I was probably a sophomore in high school, and I knew a lot of people think, like, well, hey, when you grow up, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be a millionaire. And people are like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be a teacher and a coach. And that's a lot different than being a millionaire and making a lot of money. But the reason I wanted to be a teacher is because I had awesome teachers throughout my career. Mr. Knackley here, Mr. Diamore, Mr. Kowalski, I think you had retired right when I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. I was blessed with having awesome teachers throughout my life. And I knew probably midway through my high school career I wanted to be a teacher. So I would like to thank all the teachers that I had in my life because that means a lot. I was also blessed to have a lot of coaches. Throughout my high school career, this speech would probably go way over 10 minutes if I named every single coach that I had. So I'm going to keep it to, I guess, the varsity coaches that I had. Coach Nacky retired, I think, when I was a freshman, and then Coach Hall took over. I learned a lot from every coach that I had. Coach Hall taught us that attention to detail and preparation matters. So when I later became a high school basketball coach, my game plans were probably like that of a football coach. I think our girls in Arizona were like, Coach, it's one game. Why do we have 10 pages of scout? I don't know. It's just, that's what happens. Coach Rosnick, I got to play for 1 year before he retired. Coach Rosnick looked at me my sophomore year and says, hey, Rojek, you're a good shooter, but I think you suck at defense. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, welcome to Wickliffe. But Roz taught me that, like, if you want to be a good basketball player, you better play defense. And I took that into my coaching career as well. Every kid who played for me would say, what did Coach Rojek care about the most? Defense, and I thank Coach Roz for that. Coach Chris for instilling in our team when we won the CVC championship that we can beat anybody. We were probably not the favorite to win the CVC championship my junior year. We played Orange, and Orange had the Jones triplets. And I'll never forget, Coach Chris says, all right, hey, Corey, you're going to guard Kendall. He's 6'7". And I looked at him, I go, me? I'm guarding Kendall? He said, well, it's either you or the 5'7" kid, so one of you has to guard Kendall. But Orange started 6'7", 6'7", 6'6". And I think we had maybe one or two kids over 6 foot. We ended up winning the CVC championship that year, and I thanks Coach Chris because he really instilled it. Doesn't matter who you played, you have a chance to win the game. Coach Mata, he was my baseball coach, and I'll never forget, I never played for a coach who had such a huge trust and confidence in you, and when someone has such a trust and confidence in you, it really, really means a lot. We were playing the district semifinal, and Coach Mata comes out there. There's bases loaded. We're winning 2-1 in the 7th inning. And I'm thinking he's going to say something strategic. And he goes out there. He goes, so, yeah, just strike him out. I don't know what else to tell you. I go, okay, I guess I'll strike him out. We did, and we won, and we advanced. But Coach Mata was about as simple and as basic as possible. But sometimes as an athlete in big moments, simple is better than complicated. So I had great coaches. I know none of them are here, but I do want to send a shout out to all of the young women I coached out in Arizona. Going to 4 state championships and winning 2, I think any coach would say that you can't do that unless you have really awesome players. So a lot of those young women in Arizona, I was blessed to coach a lot of really good basketball players. We had a lot of success. Their commitment, their hard work was amazing. Right now, some of them are doctors, dentists, lawyers. Some of them are still playing basketball in North Carolina and Duke. But the places that we had, the girls that we had to coach, I was honored to coach every single one of them girls for 13 years. They were truly an amazing group of young women to coach. I would also like to thank my sisters, Sarah, Heather, and my cousin Ashley, because we all kind of grew up together. I'm going to go really quick through this. Sarah, we had some fights sometimes. We were always like, she would never admit that she loved me face to face, but I know that she did. She came home from school one day and says, hey, well, I got kicked out of the library. Sarah was a senior. I was in 8th grade. I go, what did you do to get kicked out of the library? She goes, well, one of the high school kids was talking crap about you because he heard you were a good athlete. And I said, you're just mad that my middle school brother is already better than you. And then I swore at him, and then she got kicked out of the library. So Sarah, I guess thank you for that. Heather, one of the kindest souls I know. Heather, travel baseball, we probably played, I think when I was 13 and 14 year olds, probably 95 games. We played in like 17 different states, and Heather was at every single one of those games. Every single one. And she was at all of my high school games, so it was always nice to have Heather right there, because when you have your sister there and you have family close by, Heather was always there. Ashley, a cousin who I kind of view more as like a third sister. Ashley was also always cheering for me. We grew up together, we went to high school together, went through all the high school drama together. Thank God there's not Snapchat, TikTok, and all that stuff when we were in high school, because everything would probably be a little bit more crazy. But Ashley was always there, always cheering for me every game. But that's because she had to, because she was a Wickliffe High School cheerleader. So thank you, Ashley. I do want to shout out my mom and dad. My mom, I'll tell you what, and I think a lot of sons can say this, that like your mom is always like your number one fan. Even if I had a good game, a bad game, Mom always thought you played a great game. Honey, I thought you were great. Mom, I went 0 for 3. I didn't do anything. No, I thought you were good. I thought you were very good. When I was growing up, I'm pitching. I'd always hear my mom say, "Hey, Corey, strike him out. Throw him the dark one." And I didn't know what that meant, so I would laugh because I don't know what she meant by that pitch. But she would say it. Growing up, like, I was in high school when online came on, and the internet was big and all that stuff, and there was like these Cleveland high school forums where all of a sudden people could log on and start talking, bad things about each other. So my mom would watch this and saw that someone called me a mama's boy because my mom still does my laundry, and she was offended. And I go, "Mom, why are you mad? Like, you do my laundry." And she goes, "You know what, you're right. I have to go because there's a lot of laundry to do." But my mom was always there. My dad, he was my first coach. Little League, he coached me all the way up through the age of 12. I'll never forget, 11 and 12, we won like the Little League championship, going out with him to eat. That was like a big moment for us because my dad, he's a firefighter, so he'd work one day, off 2 days. So he had to change his schedule a lot to get to our games, and I was always really appreciative of that. The other thing I would like to say about my dad is he always had the most confidence in me ever. Like we would watch Browns games, and he'd say, "Well, I think you got better hands than that guy." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." So when I was a senior, he said, "I think if you guys end up playing this team in regionals, I actually think you can guard them. Like, I think you're better than them." I go, "You think?" He goes, "Yeah, I think if you matched up against him, you're better than him." So the guy he was talking about was LeBron James, okay? So I'll thank my dad for thinking that I could guard LeBron James because, unfortunately for Wickliffe, we were at a rough time. We were never going to get out of a regional in basketball because I was at the same time as LeBron James, and we were in the same division, so we never had a chance. And last, I would like to thank my family, all right here. My wife, Jocelyn, and 4 kids, Ryan, Reagan, Bo, and Grace. They didn't get to see, they weren't around for high school, obviously. Actually, Grace looked at the yearbook today, and she saw me at the homecoming dance with someone else, and she said, "Mommy, Dad cheated on you." I go, "Grace, I didn't know Mom yet." But they were able to be there for the entire Arizona career. It is not easy being the wife, and many coaches can attest to this. It's not easy being the spouse of someone who's running a high school program. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of nights where you want to lay home with the kids and wife, but you're thinking about, we didn't have a good practice, so what can we do to get better? And my wife was always like the rock during those 13 years while I was running a high school program. The kids were there through it. They grew up in a gym watching all the high school basketball games. My 3 favorite athletes to this day are my sons, Ryan, Reagan, and Bo. I absolutely love watching them play sports. It's the best thing I can do. Grace, you're going to be my next favorite athlete. Grace just started kindergarten yesterday. Little claps for Grace. Grace was our good luck charm because we did not win a state championship in Arizona until Grace was born, and she was at the state championship game when she was 2 months old. And then the next year she was there when she was a year and 2 months old. So Grace, you have been alive for both state championships. I was fortunate to be on a lot of great teams in my life, but probably the best team that I've been on is my family, my wife and kids. It really means a lot when you have people in your corner. Whether it was coming home after a great win or a tough loss, you're always there. I always took a lot of pride in being a great athlete or a coach, but the thing I take the most pride in, right, Grace, right there, is being a husband and a dad. So thank you to my family for being there throughout my entire professional career. Last but not least, I would like to thank, he's not here today, but I'm sure he's smiling down, my Papa Chet. He was probably the biggest role model in my life. Every single grade throughout school, they'd say, "Corey Rojek?" I go, "Yeah, here. Are you related to Chet Rojek?" I go, "Yeah, that's my grandpa." My Papa Chet was at every single one of my events from youth sports through college. And tonight is kind of like a full circle moment for me. I think a lot of why this means a lot for me tonight is I was at his Hall of Fame induction in 1994 when he was inducted into the Euclid High School Hall of Fame as a player and a coach. And I remember thinking that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like, wow, Papa, you're a Hall of Famer at your high school. And a lot of kids look up to and idolize professional athletes. I always looked up to and idolized my Papa Chet. It meant a lot to me. I would sit there in his office after 2 hours of batting practice with him, and I'd look at all of his plaques, and I'd see Coach of the Year, Players of the Year, state championships, and I'd ask him, I go, hey, so I want to be just like you. And one day he goes, hey, I'm going to give you 10 words, 20 letters. I'm like, what? He goes, 10 words, 20 letters. I go, okay. He goes, if it is to be, it is up to me. And I was like 12 years old, so that was kind of a lot to take in. I'm like, if it is to be, it is up to me. And then a month later, he comes over the house and gives me a little sign to hang up in my room. He goes, every single day you wake up, like you said you want to be a good athlete, a coach, and all these things. Every single day you wake up, repeat these words. And on the sign, it said, if it is to be, it is up to me. And those are words that still reign in with me because when I think of my sports career and everything that matters, he was there from the time I was 6 to the time I was done playing sports when I was 23. I remember being 18. The only baseball game he wasn't at, I remember being worried because he was always right there. And I asked my dad, hey, what's wrong with Papa Chet? And my dad goes, something came up with his heart. He's not going to be here tonight. I go to the hospital. I think it was like the only game my senior year I didn't get a hit. And I go to visit him, and the first thing I see in the hospital is all these wires hooked up. And I said, Papa Chet, how are you doing? And this is typically him. He said, a lot better than you. You didn't get a hit tonight. Meanwhile, he was having heart issues. But I would like, Wickliffe, thank you so much, the committee, everything. It was an awesome high school. I really follow them. I love it. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night. Congratulations to all the inductees, all the past inductees. And once again, go Blue Devils.
Congratulations to Corey, and let's hear it once again, ladies and gentlemen, for all of our inductees here tonight. Let's also hear it for all that put the event together. What a great evening, great food, great camaraderie, stories, just outstanding job by the committee. Let's hear it for the Wickliffe Schools Alumni Association. Also, please continue to support Wickliffe. What a great place to grow up, obviously. And, tomorrow night football starts, the high school football season. And when we were having dinner tonight, I looked and I saw Wickliffe was playing Chippewa. And so Frank back there, he said, you know what their nickname is now? You get, wow, the Blue Devils, that's tough. The Solon, the Comets, the Rebels, Their nickname is the Chips. Now, I could be way off here, but maybe they are tough. I don't know, but the Chips. So, excellent. So, a reminder, we have photos after, so all the award winners, please gather near the stage over here. And if you do want to watch any of the Wickliffe football games, correct me if I'm wrong, Frank, it's WickliffelumniAssociation.org is the website. So you can listen to Frank Foti in the WBDN broadcast. So we appreciate that, and I believe that is it. So congratulations again. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe to going home.